Okay, hello everyone. This is actually going to be the first video in a series that I'm thinking of doing on teaching people to play League of Legends. And basically, this is going to be the most intro of the intro stuff. So if you're playing League of Legends, if you're above summoner level like 10 to 15, you could probably skip this video and go to a future video. But I'm gonna brush on all the intro stuff, maybe get into some slightly more advanced stuff when I get off tangent, because that happens a lot. But I'm basically going to describe League of Legends and talk about what you should focus on as a brand new player. And to do this, I'm going to just be playing in a bot game on my Smurf. I'm like a level 5 Smurf, so I mean, my teammates are either going to be Smurfs or level 5 players also, and we're going to be against a bunch of easy bots, so it's something that I might have to focus a little bit on while I'm doing commentary, but probably not that much. But yeah, so at its core, the most basic thing is that League of Legends is a 5-on-5 game where every player is going to control a champion, and then there are lots of like neutral minions and team-oriented minions throughout the map that you kill to level up and get golden experience, such that you can eventually destroy the enemy base. And so your endgame goal is to destroy the enemy base, but your goal at the very beginning is to maximize the amount of gold and experience that you get so that it becomes easier to destroy the enemy base later on. And you do this by standing near enemy minions that die to get experience, and actually getting the last attack on the minion before it dies to get gold. And gold lets you buy items. Items make your character stronger. They can upgrade like your attack damage, or your range, or your health. Something that most MOBA or League type games do. And so basically, if you're going to try and maximize your golden experience, you're going to want to split up to all the different locations on the map to make sure that there is a champion near every minion that's dying, so that everyone can get the most golden experience for your team. And once you kind of get the idea of how to get golden experience down, and how to like sit in a lane and get some farm and level up, you're going to start to realize that you can prevent the enemies from getting golden experience by, if you attack the enemy champions when they go up for the minions, it's going to dissuade them from standing near the minions. And suddenly, this whole idea of last hitting the minion becomes a lot more difficult, because the enemy is going to try and attack you when you want to get a last hit. So when you want to attack the minion, they might decide to attack you, and you only have so much health before they kill you. And if you kill an enemy champion, you get a much larger amount of golden experience than just killing the minions would get you. And the enemy champion has a respawn time, and they have to be back at base and then run all the way back down the lane. So getting killed is obviously really bad for your team, and killing the enemy champion is really good for your team. One sec, let me just do a quick ignore all. Because I am actually in a public game, which I'm not certain yet whether I should do a public game or all bot games for these, or whether I should just pre-record the video. So I don't have to focus on moving and stuff, but I am actually pretty good at playing and moving. If you're wondering, I am Diamond 1 right now, so I'm pretty high up there. I'm not, like, amazing at League of Legends, but I'm pretty good. And so, what is a champion, I guess? Some people might ask, like, what defines your champion? Why am I different than Kayle right here, and I'm playing Jinx, and why is that different than Master Yi, and that different than Ziggs? I'm actually going to go top lane, because it looks like Ziggs wants to go middle, and as I was saying earlier, one of your main strategies, like, it doesn't really matter whether you send 2 or 3 champions to a lane. There's a certain way that people play the game at a really high level, where they do a split, where they have 1-1-2, and then they have one guy kill these jungle minions to get experience. But realistically, the most important thing is to just ensure that you have someone getting experience in every lane. So hopefully this Volibear is going to go bottom, because, okay, he is actually going to go top, which is fine. So I'm going to pop my Ghost. This is not optimal. Your summoner spells have a really long cooldown, and so you really don't want to use them for things like moving around. But right now, it's really important to make sure that, like, right now these minions are dying and no one's getting golden experience for our team. And that's really bad. Like, we want every enemy minion that dies. We want our team to get golden experience. Right there, I stayed here to help our jungler, because you can actually help your team kill these neutral minions, but that's a more advanced thing, and we'll get into that in future videos. But basically, there are these neutral monsters that have lots of golden experience that you could get if you could kill them, but you need a specific rune mastery setup, and you need to have only specific champions can do it at lower levels, but you kill the jungle minions instead of sitting in the lane like this. I don't know why... I thought that there would be enemy bots, but I guess in this setting we don't play against bots, which is actually fine because I have less to concentrate on. I probably shouldn't even concentrate that hard on last hitting these minions, but I can now accurately describe what I was saying earlier, that when the minion gets really low, one of your goals is going to be the last person to attack it. So like you wait for the minion to get low and then you right click on it, and it's telling me to move back because minions are attacking you. That's also a good tip. Like, you don't want to stand like up here. One, because if the enemies are there, they could easily attack you. But two, because whenever you attack an enemy champion, it will call minions to help. It's telling me to level up my ability, that's cool. So this is, I obviously picked too simple of a tutorial level bots, I guess. But, oh no, the bots came down. What do you know, they just sit back for the first couple levels, I guess. So I'm gonna get a kill on Ezreal bot really quick while we keep talking about stuff. But yeah, so you don't want to stand far up, because whenever I right-click on an enemy champion like that, the enemy minions will help him. Kind of like if they right-click on you to attack you, your minions will help you. So you want to stand kind of like behind your minions whenever you can, or with your minions, such that like if this Alistar walked up and hit me right now like he did, look at all my ranged minions attacking him. You see, like, he's almost dying just to range minions. I wasn't even hitting him back. And that's because of where I was standing. It was not a good place for him to attack me. Oh, I could have definitely killed him. I'm actually gonna go kill him. No I'm not. Okay, no I am. I'm gonna kill him. Yeah. So I'm just gonna hit him with a zap real quick and then get out of there. But yeah, so I ran down here because I wanted to maximize golden experience for my team. This Ezreal bot's making a huge mistake. You don't want to do something like this. Like, I don't even have to hit him. He will just lose to the minion wave. Like, even if I stand right here, like, you see how much damage he takes when he goes for that harass? But now watch when I go hit him. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit him. You see how I stood way over the left over here? I'm really far from his minions. So that when I hit him, his minions will try and attack me. See those guys try to attack me? But I backed up immediately. So I didn't let the minions kill me, or fight back. I should have landed that W, that was silly. But I mean, that's more advanced. You gotta get better at controlling your champion to do things like that. At the very start, when you're just intermediate, or not even intermediate, when you're just learning, you're probably just gonna not even last it. You'll just let your champion, like, no hands on keyboard or anything, you'll just let your champion hit things. And then sometimes you'll get the last hit, sometimes you won't. You want to make sure not to take minion damage, so I took a lot of minion damage there, that was pretty bad. And that's what that thing's telling me. Hey, move back, minions are attacking you. That's a general thing that you should keep in mind, is if you're being hit by minions, you should almost always back up. Because minions hurt. Like, look at these. These guys hit for like 26, the melee guys hit for 13. I only have like 900 health. So if the whole minion wave, if every minion hits me once, it would do like 1/8 of my life. And they attack like once per second, so an entire minion wave can kill you in like 7 or 8 seconds early on. And that's not even counting any enemy damage. The only thing worse than getting hit by minions is getting hit by turrets, which are these giant things, which I'll go into more later. But basically, turrets are what you end up having to kill to get to your enemy's base, eventually. And, you can't do that until you're stronger, because, like, look at this turret, it hits for 180. It would kill me in, like, 5 hits, and even less, because actually the way turrets work, every attack they do, their next attack hits for more, until they haven't attacked for a while, and then it resets. So, you don't really want to be hit, like, taking multiple turret hits in a row. Okay, Ezreal bot's crazy. He just, like, as I was talking about minion waves, he just tanked that entire minion wave and died, and then killed Alistar bot as well. But I guess back to another point, I'm kind of all over the place here, because apparently, if I try and talk about stuff while I'm playing, it's gonna be everywhere. So maybe I'll ask after the video and see, hey, if people want me to not play while I'm talking, which would make the videos probably shorter and a little bit more on point, but then I wouldn't be able to actively demonstrate things that I'm talking about, or if this way would be fine for future videos, and I'm sure I'll get better at it too as time goes on. But yeah, so what makes the champions different are their abilities, and their stats, and their ranges. Well, range is a stat. But so like, if I look at all my stats, it's like I have 325 move speed. That's a little on the slower end. A lot of melee champions can have like 350 or so on, and that's just like how quick you get from point A to point B. My range is how far away I can stand when I hit things. Like if you'll notice, well, Alistar is actually trying to kill me. But yeah, if you'll notice, I can hit Alistar from like not too far away, but if I switch forms, my range goes up by like 100. And I can hit him from like a little bit further away. And Alistar's obviously melee. He has to run next to me to fight me. So I guess I'm just gonna double kill these bots real quick so they can get out of my way so I can keep talking. But yeah, so this is like 500 range. Like right, well, the minions keep coming closer, but this is about 500. 625 would be this much. And so champions with different ranges would feel very different. Obviously, if you have more range, there's a window that you can hit an enemy champion if your range is enough bigger than theirs that you can hit them and then back up and then hit them again, which is a tactic called kiting that's used in a lot of games. And it's a really powerful tactic when you have more range because you can get attacks on them for free, which is something that you'd really want to abuse if you like playing champions with high range. Meanwhile, if you want to play melee champions, you gotta find ways to deal with champions that can kite you. A lot of melee champions have ways to move themselves across the map, like a gap closer, such that they could like track down an enemy champion that's trying to kite them. But basically, you have to learn all of your champion's abilities, and if you really wanted to get good at League of Legends, you would have to learn all of every champion's abilities, which is kind of crazy because there's 100-something champions now. But if you think about it, there's only 4 abilities and 1 passive ability per champion. And you don't need to know everything an ability does until you're trying to master the game. You just need to have a general idea. And the most important abilities to figure out, early on at least, are crowd controls. And so what a crowd control is it's an ability that can prevent an opponent from properly controlling their champion. Which, I mean, there's soft CC and hard CC, which are 2 different types. Like, if you're gonna filter crowd control into 2 general areas. Soft CC is like, you disable one thing that they could do. Like a silence would be a soft CC, where you cast it on an enemy, and it makes it so they can't use their abilities for a short period of time, but they can still move around and attack. That's a soft CC. You're only disabled their abilities. A hard CC is like a stun, where if you hit an enemy with a stun, they can't move, they can't attack, they can't use abilities. Like, you basically like turned off their champion. And why crowd controls are the most important abilities to learn when you're first learning the game is because if you're always able to control your champion, like, no matter how bad of a situation I get into, like, I could get really low on health. Notice he just pulverized me, that was a crowd control. But see, look, I'm low on health, but they have no crowd controls, so I can now just safely run away. And they can't kill me. Like, if I have the option to just run to my turret, I'm safe under my turret. This Ezreal bot can't get me. And so crowd controls are what you use, for the most part, to kill enemy champions. And every champion's gonna have pretty much like 1 or 2 crowd controls. A couple champions don't have any. But so they're the abilities you want to learn first and foremost. And a lot of crowd controls are pretty telegraphed in some ways too, so that you can actually have some counterplay to them. Like, say, as Jinx, I have my W. It fires in this long line that you can see here. I should actually turn off SmartCast for now, so I can show off, like, this is how my W fires. Like, it's gonna fire along this line. It's also called a skill shot because abilities can be either targeted or a skill shot. A skill shot means I can click it on the ground like that, and I could just, like, flat out miss the Ezreal. Like, if I tried to hit this creep, I'm gonna demonstrate, like, missing. Like, I could click over there, and I just missed my ability. But there are also abilities, I don't have any on Jinx, which is kind of sad, but there are abilities that you can just, like, click on an enemy, and they would instantly hit that enemy. There's, like, no way to miss it, and that's a targeted ability. Targeted crowd controls are very powerful, obviously, because if you can control an enemy's ability to move or act or do anything, and they have no way to play against it, then that's going to be really good. But as you can see, I have to aim my zap. It's just a brief slow. Like, if I hit him with zap, well, I missed it that time. But if I hit him with it, then for a short period of time he would be slowed and I'd be able to run after him. So that's another ability. It actually roots him to the ground, and if you saw how I threw it there, it let me catch up to him and continue chasing. I'm actually just going to zap him really quick. Oh, oops, Ezreal blocked it. Well, I'm going to kill Ezreal. So here I'm getting low on health, and I actually... Okay, well, I used my ultimate, but I actually was planning on using Summoner Heal, and this is the type of thing that you can do as you get better on the game. Like, I was watching my health go down, and I was watching his health go down, and I was asking myself, like, what abilities could he use on me? What is this Ezreal going to do? And, it's quite possible that he could have done something I didn't expect. Like, he could have blinked right next to me, because Ezreal has an ability that can teleport himself through the air, and then used a damaging ability on me, and I probably would have died. I only had 200 health. So the instant he blinked next to me, I was going to pop my Summoner Heal. And that's like, that's not something that you're going to be able to do at all as a beginner. That's something that you would do as a more advanced tactic. You're going to want to not just plan for your own abilities, but then plan for all of your opponent's abilities, and think ahead to, like, if my opponent does this, I will do this. And that's where the game gets really interesting later on. But right now, as a beginner, your goal is going to be controlling your champion more than anything, and learning your own abilities, and figuring out what you can do and what you can't do, and learning all the abilities in the game. Like, there's a lot of things to do. If I had to prioritize, I would say the most important thing is to practice moving, because if you look, like, you're probably going to be playing lock screen when you first start, but if you look at when I move around, especially on lock screen, you'll see I move my camera around a lot, and I right-click a lot when I'm moving around. Like, even if I'm just moving to the same place, I'm right-clicking multiple times. And that's because as you get better, you're going to have to move in multiple different directions in a second. So, like, every given second, I'm going to want to be able to, like, change direction as much as I want in order to help me dodge skill shots, to help me position better, to help me get last hits. And a lot of new players that I see, they will click once to move and then just wait and let their character walk there. Which, I mean, it's definitely fine to do that when you're a new player. I'm not saying you're wrong for doing that. It's hard to do more than that. But as you get more practice, you're going to want, like, one of the things you focus on is to move around your champion a lot. Like, honestly, you should click. I mean, I'm not saying click as fast as you can, but I'm saying to try and click at least once or twice a second for the whole duration of a game. Because then you'll get better at positioning and moving your champion. And then when you go for something like a kill on this Ezreal, if you look, every time I attacked, in between my attack, I would take a step forward and attack him again. And that's something that you won't be able to do early on. Like, and you can practice that. It doesn't have to be against Ezreal. I practice that every single time I go for a last hit. Because, like, if you look, I hit the creep, I move, I hit the creep, I move, I hit the creep, I move. I hit the champion, I move. And, like, if I do it like this, rather than just, like, if I just right-click on the champion, I'll try and show down another champion or something. But if they just run away from me, my champion's going to spend some wind-down time in the attack animation, and unless you're canceling that wind-down time, you're not going to effectively chase them. So, like, hopefully I can show it off. Hopefully this Ryze bot will just run away from me. I don't know if he's going to run. I got to let him get on the right side of me to run. Yeah, but see, if I'm just going to stay right-clicked on him. Well, okay, he's only kind of running. But yeah, I guess I have a high enough attack speed. It didn't really demonstrate it very well. But basically, you do want to be able to move in between every attack eventually. That's something to strive for. And I know it might seem really daunting when you're a brand new player to do this, but you'll get better and better every single game you play, because games last, what, 30 to 50 minutes on average? I'd say 30 to 40 minutes on average. I guess 50 is a long game, 20 is a short game. And throughout this time, like, even when I'm just running down the river, which the river is this thing, goes all the way from the top left to the bottom right of the map, I'm still rapidly clicking, and sometimes I'm changing my direction, and it's all for practice, you know? And this is Dragon. He's a neutral monster. It's really good. He gives your whole team golden experience. It's something that you want to aim to do as a team later on, but not too important when you're just learning the game at the very start. And obviously, I'm already so powerful that I can just kill the dragon pretty much by myself. I'm gonna fight with Master Yi to get him killed. But, I'm level 12, and these guys are level 7, and I have a full Bloodthirster. Like, I went back and bought items earlier. I think one of the earlier tutorials should have taught you how to buy items. Learning item builds and so on, actually, it's not super important when you're starting out. You can buy whatever items. I think it's better to buy whatever items you want to buy, and then realize what advantages that gives your character. Because there isn't really definitively an item build that, like, is going to make your character worse. Like, there's no way to make your character worse by buying items. So, you can, like, obviously there are item builds that are better than other item builds, and some item builds will only very slightly make you better. Like, if I had bought a bunch of ability power, I only have one skill that scales with ability power, and you can see with the like little green number by like the 80 plus 0 on my Flame Chompers, that shows that the green plus 0 shows ability power would make the damage go up. And here, like, the plus 256, that's attack damage makes that go up because it's like an orangish red. Same thing with my ultimate. And my Q is like an attack speed steroid, so it makes me attack faster, it gives me more attack speed. And so stacking up all of this physical damage, it's empowering 3 of my abilities. So it is like the optimal way to build Jinx is to buy a lot of physical damage, but you'll learn that in time. The more you play the character, you'll figure out, hey, I saw someone else build this way, or I tried this build and I really liked it. But that's not the most important thing when you're starting out. The most important thing is to learn all the crowd controls and to control your champion, like, and to start to get a feel for last hitting and like all of the basic things that like pros really start to take for granted. And yeah, if you had to ask me the best way to learn everyone's abilities and crowd controls, that's really tough because you're not going to own all the champions when you just start out, and you don't really want to just like go to a website and look up every single champion that you're playing against. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to watch the enemy champions and just see what they did. And so, I mean, you're probably going to die a lot when you're starting out, and that's just something you're going to have to brace yourself for, because if you don't know what the champions do, then they can land a crowd control on you, or they could like blink across the map, they could like teleport from one location to another. And they could just like, see, Ezreal just shot like that giant arcane laser, which is his ultimate, like, and that could have done a lot of damage to me. Like, I'm really strong, so right now I'm literally invincible. I could stand right here, and I don't think this Ezreal would ever kill me. But, I mean, you're going to have to watch what your opponents do and watch what your teammates do, and you're going to have to be logging all sorts of things in your mind, like, and figuring out what everyone can do. And then, the next time you see that, you'll be able to say, like, oh, hey, I saw Ezreal shoot a giant laser that flew all the way to my base. So that guy has an attack, kind of like, I have, like, this missile, watch, that will fly all the way from here. I might even miss. Nope, it flew all the way up there and hit them. And so I have a skill that goes all the way across the map. Ezreal has a skill that goes all the way across the map. I've already, if I didn't know that, I learned that this game. And so, as you're learning everyone's abilities, which should be your first priority, you should also try and learn when to fight and when to run. Because what's going to happen early on when you're laning, like, if this Ryze bot decides to attack me and I'm not as strong as I am, I don't know where he's going actually, but if he decides to fight me, I have to choose either A, to run from him, or B, to fight back. And, like, at the most basic, that's the decision. I mean, like, if you choose to fight back, there are different ways to do that. You can, like, use an ability, you can just right-click on him to do damage, you could run into your minion wave, you could try and dodge a skill shot. Like, there's tons of things that you can try and do, but at its most general, it's you're going to run or you're going to fight. And figuring out when to run and when to fight is extremely tough. Like, you can even be a really good player. You can know everyone's abilities, you can know everything that he can do, but just knowing when to run or when to fight is going to be tough because everyone has a different level. Like, everyone has, like, I'm level 15 right now, and these guys are, like, level 5 and level 8, so I'm obviously, the choice for me is not very hard. The choice for me is fight every single time because I'm so strong and they're so weak. But say I was, like, level 9 and they were level 8, or I was level 8 and they were level 9, or I was level 8 and they were level 10. Like, suddenly these are all different scenarios. What if this Ezreal, instead of 5 Doran's items, had, like, my items? He had, like, a Bloodthirster or something. Does that change whether I should run or whether I should fight? What if you know for a fact that their ultimate is on cooldown? Like, what if they watched me shoot my rocket, which is your ability on R is called your ultimate. It normally has a fairly long cooldown. In this case, it's a 70-second cooldown, which I guess I didn't even explain cooldowns. But cooldowns, basically, it's after you use an ability, you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can use it again. And so, if you notice that someone uses their ultimate, like their strongest ability, and you know that they just used it, it's like, suddenly that goes into whether you run or whether you fight. And you have to compile all this information, and in the time that he decided to right-click on you, is how much time you have to decide, hey, am I going to right-click back or am I going to run? And so, learning something like that, you have to draw upon experience, which you're just going to have to get from playing. But the best way to get that experience is actually to choose fight. Like, just whether, if you don't know, or if you think it's going to be somewhat close, and someone tries to fight you, just use your abilities on them, fight back. See what they did to you. Like, this Ezreal just blinked on me, this Ryze just, like, threw some bouncy thing. Like, I mean, I did know whether I was going to win or lose this fight, but maybe I didn't know if I was going to win or lose the fight, and it's like, hey, I beat Ezreal. I'm going to keep fighting Ryze. Am I going to win? I'm low on health, he's pretty high on health. I mean, a lot of players would run, they wouldn't know whether they're going to win or lose, and you'll be like, hey, I don't know if I should... Right now, should I keep fighting? Should I keep running at him? Is he going to kill me? I mean, I guess he's not. He's an easy bot. I'm just going to kill him. But, like, that's something that you get with experience. Your health value is going to be different, your items are going to be different, your levels are going to be different, and you're not going to be in the exact same situation twice, pretty much ever. So you're going to draw from similar situations that you've been in before. And you're just, I'm going to have to remember, hey, I'm a level 16 with Bloodthirster, 2 Dorans. I was up against a level 11 Ryze, a level 10 Ezreal. They had 5 Dorans each. They missed a lot of their abilities. I didn't have to use many of my abilities. And I log all this in my head and I say, in that situation, I win. But, maybe next time I do that, they land all their abilities and I lose. And then I have to think to myself, like, hey, I actually don't win that situation. I only won that one time because they missed everything. So there's a lot to keep track of. And you should always, whenever you get into one of these things, try and think, like, hey, why didn't that work, or why did that work? And then try and apply that to your next game. And that's, I think, the biggest draw of all of League of Legends, is just the fact that it's such a complicated game. Like, it's not that complicated to first start playing it. Like, hey, you move around and shoot things, and you only have 4 moves. Like, there are games where you have a lot more than 4 moves. Like, look at World of Warcraft or something. But the most complicated thing about it is that you have to make these pretty fast-paced decisions. And the information that you're drawing off of to make these decisions, it's not, like, perfect. Like, you're never gonna know exactly who's gonna win or what's gonna happen. And yeah, so I would recommend early on, like, mouse over your abilities, obviously, for whatever champion you're playing. Read what all your abilities do, kind of practice using them, get a feel for them, and then just try fighting some people and see who wins, and then decide, like, hey, if you lose a fight to someone, if you miss some of your stuff, say, like, hey, maybe I'll fight him again and see if I can land my stuff. Or if you missed your stuff and, like, they lived with, like, 70 or 80% life, maybe you can't win that fight. Like, maybe it wasn't because you missed, maybe they were just stronger than you. And then, remember that for the next time. And, like, so if Ryzebot killed me one-on-one, I would not fight him one-on-one again until I thought I was significantly stronger than the last time I fought him. Yeah, aside from that, I would say, when you're starting out, there's 2 real strategies you can take. You can either, as far as, like, picking champions go, you can either pick a different champion every time you play, which is something I liked doing when I started out, or you could pick the same champion over and over, because the better a feel you get for your champion, the better you can learn what other champions do based on how you fight them. So, it's like 2 different styles of learning. Do you prefer to learn by using a new set of abilities every game, and then being like, oh, I shot a rocket, oh, I threw mines, oh, I have a skill shot, okay, I know what Jinx does, so next game I'm going to play someone different because I learned all of her abilities? Or would you prefer to watch what your enemies are doing, and since you're playing the same champion every time, you have a better judge of your strength, and then you can get a better judge of their strength because you're playing the same champion. You can then relate I can relate fighting this Alistar, this game, to a previous time I was this strong on Jinx, fighting an Alistar. And I guarantee you I killed the Alistar when I had this kind of like, difference in power. So I know for a fact, like, there's no way that Alistar could beat me, because I've played a Jinx game like this before. And honestly, it's just going to depend on what type of learner you are. If you think using abilities and playing as a champion will help you more, I would recommend playing as many different champions as you can. Like, every week, there's going to be 10 free-to-play champions, and they're going to switch. So that means every week you should try and get in, like, 10, maybe you can't get the full 10 in, but maybe, like, 6 or 7 games of League. Each is a different champion. And then when the free week switches, try and play all the new champions, and get a feel for every champion. And then, if you're the other way around, just try and play a couple games every week on your main champion, and then, basically learn what other champions do by what they cast on you, but that's a lot harder because sometimes your enemies won't cast all their abilities, or sometimes they'll miss, and sometimes you can't even exactly figure out what an ability did when he throws it at you. Like, that Ryze's Q, it does more damage the more mana he has. And he has no mana, so it didn't, like, he has no, like, bonus mana on his items. So, it makes it feel like it hits for a lot less than it probably would if he had built correctly. Yeah, but so, I mean, basically, as you're learning League of Legends, the priorities would be learn all the abilities, especially the crowd controls, like stuns and silences and slows are all up there. Learn to control your champion, like how to move around, and then try and get some kind of decision making as to when to fight and when to run. Those are all three really important things, and everything else will kind of start coming automatically. There are like some certain like noob-friendly tips that everyone gives that I think a lot of people have heard. Like, don't walk into an enemy turret. I think the tutorial tried to teach you this. Stand behind your minions. Like, this game kept telling me, like, don't tank minions. But yeah, like right here, like if you're the first thing to walk into turret range, it will always target you until you walk out of turret range. And if you notice, like, even when I'm level 18, I'm maximum level, I'm extremely powerful, that turret still was killing me extremely quickly. Like, much quicker than any of the enemy champions could kill me. And, I mean, as far as, like, when to kill enemy turrets, like, that's gonna be a little bit more complicated. Like, obviously, you're gonna want to have a minion wave with you. I killed it without a minion wave there because I knew I was strong enough to kill it. And, like, if the enemies are there to defend it, if you're in equal numbers, you probably don't want to go for that turret. Like, if you're 4 people trying to take a turret and there are 4 people defending it, as you're a new player, you guys should probably just back up and wait till you get to a situation where it's not a 4-on-4 at a turret. You know, you don't want to give them even numbers when you're trying to kill their base. Because if you have a turret on your side, you have a huge advantage, because if you hit an enemy champion under a turret, the turret will focus you. So you can't really fight enemy champions near their turrets very easily. What else? Was there anything giant I wanted to get said in this video? I don't think so. I mean, I guess that's like... It's okay for a pretty introductory tutorial on League of Legends. There's a lot of complicated things about this game. Like, you end up having to learn... let me go back to webcam mode. Oh, hello? Hello. Okay. But you end up having to learn, like, what skills should you level up? Like, what skills should you level up first, and what skills should you max? Like, what skills should you continue leveling up? You have to learn what items to build, what team comps are good, what lanes you should go, like whether you should go top, mid, or bottom, like, how to harass, how to dodge skill shots, how to land skill shots. I mean, there's tons and tons of, like, things that I can talk about. But right now I just wanted to get a really introductory video out there, and hopefully it didn't end up being too long. And see where it goes from there, and hopefully I'll continue this video series. I'll probably check for feedback and see how that's going. I might start streaming soon too. And yeah, I'll see you guys later, and feel free to leave any feedback in the comments. Thanks for watching.